What is going on, MBL Network? It is the Commissioner's Corner podcast. We're back again. Lipp, they say it's better late than never, I guess.
Oh, yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll always get it out there. No quit. We got this.
May 12th. Feeling pretty good. It's a Friday. MBL Season 24 is about to kick off in less than 3 hours. We're going to be counting that down as we go. When our show finishes, we'll be like an hour and a half before MBL Season 24 starts. Lipp, how excited are you about our season kickoff special right now?
I'm excited. We got a lot of good stuff going on, and everybody's real hyped up about the season coming off the off season, ready to go. I'm excited for everybody to start another season in MBL.
The hype is real and hope is a dangerous drug. I've been saying that since we started the preseason, the offseason. I'm going to preach that every season moving forward. Next year, we're having our 25th MBL season. We'll have something special for that before we start. Lipp has some great ideas about a 25th, a little anniversary special, and we're probably going to bring back some guys and talk about some people we haven't heard of in the MBL in a long time. Lipp, you want to give a little teaser to some of the ideas you had about this 25th anniversary season special we'll have next season? Or we just going to keep it under wraps? Oh, okay. All right.
No, we're gonna talk about it because I want people to be excited for it. A lot of people have talked about, wanting to know more about MBL, how we've got here, all the things that have happened over the long,
secrets,
like 3 years or so, almost 4 years coming up. It's been a long road, so I think that Sonny brought up an idea about having a big celebration for our 25th season in MBL, and I thought that here on the Commissioner Corner podcast we could bring up some topics, tell some stories, give some details about everything in the MBL, give some of the newer guys some answers that have come up to some questions that have come up in the chat over the years. And I think that would be a really cool thing for a lot of people to learn, a lot of the history that a lot of people probably don't know about Madden Bomber League.
Yeah, and I think your mic cut out just a little bit there. But I want to say the murder mystery of how Lipp became the co-commissioner, who he murdered to get to where he is, that will be revealed as well. But let's move on to our current show, what we got right now. We're going to be talking quarterback controversy, New York Giants, San Diego Chargers. We're going to reveal our thumbs up, thumbs down on the top 10 draft picks of MBL Season 24. We got the Bananas seasonal pick. Lipp's going to rank where he thinks Bananas is going to finish. It's becoming an ongoing thing. Owners up and coming. We got some new owners that are starting to just kind of get at that little top part of the league. They're starting to push their way in, and you're seeing the parity in the league really starting to grow. We also have Bombers predictions. I'm going to give my predictions on about 6 teams I think need to win this season, must-win seasons for these guys, as well as some shoe-ins and some guys that need to step up, or their team's just going to really hit rock bottom. And then we'll have our favorite part of the show, which is the Crossfire, where you choose a topic. But first, we always start with a 2-minute drill with Lipp. That's right, Lipp has 2 minutes. He's going to answer 5 questions as Bomber gives them to him rapid fire. Lipp, if I'm not forgetting anything, I think this is where we're at. We're ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. What team did you take in Eliminator MBL Season 24, Week 1?
I'm going with a guy that has whooped my butt 2 times in MBL. I'm going with the Titans, and they're going up against the Bills this week. Bills don't have Keyshawn Martin, over 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns. They're going to be missing him, and that's going to help the Titans to victory.
The NBL Season 23 Super Bowl champion Atlanta Falcons are 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. They're not even in the top 10. How ridiculous is this not to have the Super Bowl champ in the top 10 Super Bowl ratings?
Hey, a lot of questions there. One and only's gone. New ownership in town. We need to see how they play before we can just put them up there. I know that they're the champs, but they got to prove themselves, and we're going to see it here coming up.
Seattle Seahawks 3-0 in the preseason right now. San Diego Chargers 3-0 in the preseason right now. Philadelphia Eagles 3-0 in the preseason right now. How relevant is the preseason to what we're going to see in NBL Season 24?
I don't know. You see the Chargers have a good preseason last year, come out, have a good year last year. Didn't quite make the playoffs, so there might be something to it. The Seahawks, they've built a good team. I want to see Cam Newton lead their team to playoffs. I'm not sure the preseason tells you much about your playoff possibilities, but the Chargers are building, and they have a really good shot this year.
The Miami Dolphins have been talking some major smack on Twitter, calling out the Bills, the Jets, and the Patriots. They say this year is their year, NBL Season 24. How much pressure has Cuba put on his shoulders, and can he live up to his own hype?
Hey, there's a ton of pressure there. We just played the Dolphins here in preseason. After the good games were said, Mike Cuba said, "I can't wait for the season to start. I am ready." I said, "Good luck this year, man." He said, "Same to you. See you in playoffs." So the pressure is real for the Miami Dolphins.
Trending hashtag coming up, hashtag pricey playoffs. Is this the year the Colts can actually break through and make a wild card at least?
I hope so, man. I love Pricey. I love what he's been doing. I need Andrew Luck to stay off the ground for him to get to the playoffs. If that
got
can
10
be done,
seconds.
He's got a shot.
And he doesn't even need the whole 10. 3 seconds to spare. That's a 2-minute drill with Lipp. Lipp, you didn't really give us a big answer, a real answer. You didn't really reveal anything when you talked about the Colts. You just said pretty much, "I hope so." And then you just said,
Hey.
you always got a shot with Andrew Luck. So not much confidence for hashtag pricey playoffs, but we do all hope Pricey makes it. He's a great guy.
I
But
want
not
to
the
be
best.
positive for him. I want to be positive for him. I just can't. I can't say yes or no because I don't want to say no to Pricey, but I can't say yes with the sacks going on in Indy. So yes, I do hope so. That is my answer.
All right, big shout out behind the scenes, pulling the strings, Delvar doing his thing, future NBL Hall of Famer. And in the chat, we have T. Porter, the participation guru, doing his thing. We got some mods in the chat, John Blevins holding it down for us. Big shout out to them. And the guys in the chat, Bananas, Timbo, Shadow Rose, Zach, a bunch of guys in the chat right now. Big shout out to y'all. Thanks for coming up, showing up. We're definitely going to be choosing your topics soon, so start putting them in the chat. And our producer, Delvar, will be feeding them to me via text on our little way we communicate on here. It's almost like ESP. That's how we talk to each other. And just, put out your topics, and we'll talk about them later on in the show. But first, dun, dun, dun. I guess we have to do a little music. Quarterback controversy spewing. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do to that, guys. This is not planned. All right, so we got quarterback controversy brewing in San Diego and in the Big Apple, New York, the New York Football Giants of the NBL. But let's start with San Diego first. Nick Doran, we all know where he came from, the New England Patriots, the lefty. They questioned his throw power coming out of college. Struggled for 4 seasons in New England. Now signs a deal, a contract, 3 years, $23.88 million with a $6 million signing bonus. That's about $10 million a year. But then they went ahead and drafted Hudson Paulson with the 28th pick in the NBL Season 24 rookie draft. Lipp, quarterback controversy. Do you like this kind of stuff going into the season when they're not really sure who their starter is going to be? I've heard them say positive things about Dorian as of late, but positive things about Paulson early in the preseason. I don't know who's going to start week 1. You don't know who's going to start week 1. How is this for the culture and the locker room of San Diego?
It's tough, but look at Nick Doran. He's come from a team that just didn't want him. The Patriots did not want Nick Doran, and that's got to be hard on a guy. So he's coming to the Chargers. He's got a shot. I don't know if he ever expected to be the guy because of how the Patriots just treated him terribly for 4 or 5 seasons. So I think that this is actually good for him. He has a chance, a real chance. And even though they drafted the young guy, that's going to provide a good environment for both of them to step up, get the best out of both of them. And I do, in this situation, think not naming your starter yet, giving them both a chance to see who can be the dominant quarterback. I think that actually is a really good strategy here for the Chargers. They have a really good defense, so whichever guy is going to step up here at quarterback, I think it's a good shot and a good chance and really good strategy by the Chargers.
Yeah, so they're just trying to, throw some stuff at the wall and just hope it sticks at this point. Nick Doran did not have good seasons as a starter in New England. They were a sub-500 team, 13 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. His first year starting with a 73 QBR. Then his sophomore season, Lipp, we just saw a huge dip. And this is when it really started just coming in from all angles. If you were a New England Patriots fan, Doran was not the guy. He had 11 touchdowns, 31 interceptions, sacked 17 times with a QBR of 56.2. I believe that was MBL season 20 or NBL season 21. Nick Doran just completely struggled, lost his job there, played sparingly the following season, but was not the starter. He played for injury, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 58.4 QBR. So you have a guy failing to hit 60 on QBR, which 60's not even at any kind of level, should be a starter in the NBL. Definitely been struggling. Can he regroup and can he show a sense of life in San Diego? I want to know y'all's thoughts in the chat. Should Nick Doran start or should he come off the bench and they should go with Hudson Paulson? So just put starter or bench in the chat and we'll collect that information. We'll have Delvar calculating that, doing a little bit of those math skills he's so proud of that he believes he has. So we'll roll with that. Moving along, New York Football Giants. Bailey Holmes has been their quarterback. They drafted 3 years ago. He was the 8th overall pick. They've had success with him. They've made the playoffs with him. He's done some great things. They've also had a volatile running attack. So they've hit on both sides. Well, now they go after this quarterback from the New Orleans Saints who's been hurt the last 2 seasons. He signs a big free agent contract, about $60 million over 4 years. Big contract for this guy. So they got some quarterbacks. And this is real quarterback controversy, Lipp. This isn't just, I hope one of them can play better. These are 2 solid, arguably, start on in the MBL for sure. If one of these guys was released, they'd be starting on a team somewhere. Now, the Chargers, I can't say the same. I don't know. I think Nick Dorian is a very good player. Maybe he would start in the right situation. But I know Bailey Holmes and I know Craig Dronette would both be starters if they were released tomorrow on some team in the NBL. So this story is really, really competitive. I've heard a lot of competition going on with this quarterback during training camp, during the preseason. We've heard a lot of rumors, and I'm hearing Dronette's going to pull away with this starting position.
You better hope so if you're the Giants there. Craig Dronette, you gave him $24 million just in guaranteed. $60 million deal over 4 years. He's got to be the guy. Look, Holmes is a good quarterback. Yeah, he would be a really good starter on a lot of teams around the league, but his interception numbers are just crazy. Over the last 3 years, 21, 15, and 28. Those are just not good numbers, and he's never broken 20 touchdowns on a season. I just don't know if I could believe in the guy anymore. So signing Dronette is got to be a huge boost for the Giants. He's got some injury history. He's got some baggage coming from a previous franchise that just couldn't put it all together. And it's just tough.
But that arm talent he's the strongest arm in the NBL right now. I would say hands down, he's got the strongest arm. Bailey, obviously, he's a strong arm quarterback, but this guy has an elite arm in Dronette. But can he stay on the field? And maybe keeping Holmes is a bit of an insurance policy. You still have him for this year. Obviously, he'll be a free agent at the end of this year. But as you mentioned, he struggled playing. 28 interceptions last year with a 68 QBR, and that's from a sophomore season, which he took that huge leap and had 104 QBR, but only 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. So this is a guy in his career, he started 3 seasons, 13 touchdowns, 16 touchdowns, 17 touchdowns. That's where he's at. So maybe a little bit of a game manager, and in New York, maybe they want someone that can actually air the ball out.
Yeah, I think that with just Dronette having that good run game and now some receivers and a defense, they just signed J.J. Watt. That's going to help them out big time. I think that can put them in a good position. I don't know if they can win the division right now. They've got the Redskins and Gub. They're going to be tough. But if Dronette can just keep it together, slowly get into this groove as a New York Giant, I think that is a really good way to start that, chipping away at winning that division there in the NFC East.
And this is a team with Sterling Shepard and Odell Beckham outside.
Tons of talent.
You got Damon Lavelle. This guy's an up-and-coming smaller slot receiver, but definitely has the speed, agility, and athleticism to really get some things going with the running game attack of Ladarius Purnell. We got ourselves a really speed-heavy, fast, athletic team here. And you need to drive the ball down the field. Let's look at Dronette's stats. He can drive the ball down the field and get touchdowns. And that's one of the things that Holmes didn't. This is Dronette. I'm going to give you his 4 years in the NBL. And mind you, this is barring injury where he's missed 3 to 4 games nearly every season. 18 touchdowns, 19 touchdowns, 21 and 23. So he broke the 20 touchdown barrier that Holmes has never done. Holmes has never had over 17 touchdowns in a season, and he's been healthy for the duration of his career. So a lot of promising potential in Dronette, who also had a year where he had 115 QBR as a sophomore in the NBL, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That was his best year. The next year plagued by injury, and then the season last year, NBL season 23, also plagued by injury. He hasn't thrown for 4,000 yards because he's been plagued by injury, but he has pushed the limit. He has been right there stride for stride in the amount of games that he's played, and he's one of the top quarterbacks yards-wise and throwing touchdowns, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that works.
I think New York. Another thing about this Dronette situation is if you look at the number of sacks he's taken in New Orleans, 34, 27, and then 41 and 41. Back-to-back seasons.
No offensive line. No line.
With 41 sacks. If the Giants just have, somebody, if they just have guys on the line, I think that number should come down, and that will help Dronette. There's obviously no line in New Orleans. If the Giants have some type of protection for Dronette, I think that we see his injury go down, his yards and touchdowns go up.
Yeah, there's no offensive line in New Orleans. That's been a thing. A lot of money spent on skill positions. Do I have to talk about the $20 million man? Do I have to talk about the linebacker they brought in from New Orleans, Bud Dupree? I mean, there's just a lot of things going on in New Orleans that don't revolve around the offensive line. So you got a guy like Seattle and Playa who's spending money and all kinds of money, all kinds of gains on the offensive line in Seattle, and then New Orleans completely neglecting it. So, you know, you got a tale of two sides of that coin, and both have been struggling with their offensive line actually. So
offensive linemen aren't fast. That's all you got to know about New Orleans.
Offensive linemen are not fast, therefore not much interest for them in New Orleans. Moving on, we're going to talk about draft picks. That's right. We're going to talk about the top 10 draft picks right now. We're going to start off with number 10. The 10th pick in the MBL season 24 rookie draft was arguably the best lineman in the draft. Detrius McClellan, Green Bay Packers, drafted 10th overall, Wisconsin Badger. This might be the strongest lineman to come out in the last 3 years. His bench press, I think he had 43 on the bench press. I mean, he's incredible. I'm giving the thumbs up on this. This is going to be a quick thumbs up, thumbs down. Green Bay Packers have been rebuilding their line. They actually drafted another lineman later in the draft as well, and that gives them 4 linemen in the last 2 years they've drafted in the first or second round. So I love what Green Bay's doing with their front line.
Yeah, I think the big thing here with him, he's obviously probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, and he is the best lineman in this draft, in my opinion. So you look at Jarrett Ripkowski, the quarterback the Packers drafted last year. He was sacked 42 times.
Wow.
That's a
young offensive line, though. Let's put that out there, Lipp. Their offensive line was very, very young last year. Their quarterback was a rookie. Their line featured 2 rookies. I mean, let's give them a little bit of let's say that's going to change this year. I 100% believe it because I think they have a lot of talent on the offensive line, and I don't know if that can all be placed on them as well. The quarterback was really young, learning the new systems, and he threw a lot of picks.
Yeah, tons of stuff going on there in Green Bay, but this is the right move. A lot of people would be tempted to go out and get a wide receiver. Say that wide receiver will help. Nah, they went smart move, left tackle. Big thumbs up for the Packers there. Going to get Rukowski some time to really develop here. I love the move by the Packers.
So that's 2 thumbs up for the number 10 pick in the draft. Detrius McClellan. I want to keep saying Demetrius. The font is confusing me. Detrius McClellan, left tackle. Hope he has a lot of success in Green Bay. The number 9 pick in the draft, Devon Hayward, New York Giants linebacker. Lipp. I'm thumbs down on this pick with New York. I don't think they needed to go after linebacker at this position. I'll state my case after yours, but I'm thumbs down on the linebacker, Devon Hayward. I think he should have probably went late first, early second. I didn't think he was top 10 potential.
I think that this is just I would say this is a thumbs up pick for the situation that the Giants are in. So they lose their top sack leader, Olivier Vernon, last year. He had 10 sacks. So they let him go, bring in J.J. Watt, and I think with J.J. Watt and now you bring in this young guy to play linebacker, he's going to help fill that hole left by Vernon. I think it was a good move. There probably were better moves, but I think it's a good call.
You're giving thumbs up for this, but you're talking about bringing in J.J. Watt, but they lost Jason Pierre-Paul and they lost Olivier Vernon. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, you got J.J. Watt. Congratulations, he's 32 years old, but you lost two star players in the process of that, and then you went and drafted a linebacker that isn't going to be here for the good J.J. Watt to play off of. So I see this being really an issue. I question the athleticism of the linebacker they took, the middle linebacker, 6'2", good speed, nothing crazy. He was a tackling machine in college, obviously, played great for Louisville. But top 10 linebacker, haven't we seen this before? Haven't Fry and the Browns done this before with linebackers? And I just don't see them having that kind of value. I didn't see him as that premier talent where I go, oh, wow, that guy's definitely a top 10 pick. I didn't see it. Good linebacker, but I don't think great to be top 10. That's why I'm going thumbs down. Lips thumbs up. So give us your ideas and your thoughts in the chat as well. Number 8. We got the Miami Dolphins drafting free safety James Bigham. This guy was the best safety in the draft. Played for Alabama, Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. Miami got a great player with this, and they've been drafting high on the defensive side of the ball for a couple drafts now.
I am going 100% thumbs down. You
Whoa.
cannot
Whoa.
take the 8th pick and use it on a free safety, man. You can get free safeties, strong safeties, 3rd round, 4th round, undrafted. There's still stars. You've got to use that pick to fill another need. And if you look at the current roster of the Miami Dolphins, they still have good safeties. Now, this guy's a little bit better, but they still have Russell Gunn, Jordan Diedrich, and Kenny Vaccaro, all very good safeties. Now, they're a little older, but they don't need to be blazing speed. The time that this guy's going to take to develop, I just don't see it. He's a great player, but for the Miami Dolphins' needs, absolute thumbs down. They had much bigger needs than a free safety at pick number 8.
I'm kind of in the middle on this one. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds. They fell in love with his combine 40 time, fastest safety in the draft, 92 speed in game. Man, the guy's got some burners. And you know, when you're sitting with all them old safeties and you're looking around and you ain't seeing nothing but dust on their cleats, you start thinking, we need some speed at safety, man. We need some speed to go with that number 1 cornerback we drafted a couple seasons ago, Christopher Herndon. So then they start thinking, man, you know what? This guy would be nice. Now they got a super speed cornerback they drafted number 1 overall a couple seasons ago. Now they're bringing this guy at number 8. I think James is going to be great for him. I think he played great at Alabama. I'm a thumbs up for Cuba, but a thumbs down on him sniping in free agency. I'm not about that. So number 8, I'm giving a thumbs up. Moving along, pick number 7. Carolina Panthers finally draft a wide receiver. Patrick Amy, Wisconsin Badger. You're going to see a lot of Wisconsin guys. This is the team that went to the national championship and almost won it. So they have a lot of talent on that team. Wisconsin is putting together a great program, and anytime I see a player from Wisconsin in the last 3 years, I've barely been, oh, who's that guy? That guy can play. I want that guy on my team. This wide receiver, Patrick Amy, looks like the real deal. I'm not going to give my thumbs up, thumbs down just yet. I'm going to let Lipp go first.
I actually like this. I would give this a full-blown thumbs up because the 2 guys that left Carolina, A.J. Green, Kelvin Benjamin, those 2 guys had a combined speed of, I think, 79. So replacing those 2 guys, they both walked. They're gone. They're out of Carolina. This guy's going to be a huge benefit for Zach Aragoose. He only had 9 touchdowns last year, 20 interceptions. They already have a good run game in Roman Rainey and Stephen Heath. Those are good guys for your run game. If Aragoose has a legitimate number 1
I heard Aragoose is out. I mean, I don't know if this is breaking news to you, but I'm hearing Lavera's Bobo is going to be the starter.
I'm just going off of last year.
And Aragoose ain't the starter no more. It's all Bobo. Aragoose is no more. They going with Bobo.
I don't like thumbs down on that one. Thumbs down on there.
I think they're giving up on Aragoose, but man, he's had a lot of issues last year. Battled injury throughout the entire season. Had issues with the front office. His agent had issues with the front office. A lot of drama that we didn't really talk about. But this season, we're gonna have some topics about Zach Aragoose and his impact on the Carolina Panthers, whether it be from the bench or starting. It's gonna be a game time decision of who's actually gonna start. Lavera's Bobo, obviously the rookie this year, 23 years old. Big potential, 6'5". I mean, this is a big quarterback that can get it done. 6'5", 225 from Ohio State. Drafted in the 2nd round, very early. Still got a lot of potential, but back to the man at hand, and that's going to be our guy Patrick Amy, 6'5", Lipp, Wisconsin guy. I mean, I like him. Thumbs up. I think he's going to be good. He's not a speed receiver. I think they're used to that. Their offense is built for big receivers like this, and I think he's going to have a lot of potential, and he's going to put up a lot of big numbers. Crazy, spectacular catch guy in college. Expect that in the MBL as well. Moving along, this is going to be our last pick we talk about right now. Number 6. I think this guy's a steal of the draft. Middle linebacker, Florida State University. Ben Tafoya! This guy's a baller tackling machine. Denver Broncos. I don't know how he dropped. Now, you want to talk middle linebacker that should have gone earlier? This was my guy. This was the linebacker of the draft here. Ben Tafoya is the man. This is thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for this guy. I think Denver did a great job bringing him in at 6. And I think, and they went cornerback at 4. We'll obviously talk about that in a little bit. But man, that defense needed some help. They lost Brandon Marshall at middle linebacker. They replaced him with a young Ben Tafoya. Similar kind of build, similar kind of skill set. But Tafoya, man, the ceiling is high on this guy. This guy's a superstar in the making.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with anything that you said there. Tafoya is really good, and for the Broncos to go get McKay with their first pick and then come back and get Tafoya, they possibly got the two best defenders in this draft. Maybe the best defender and maybe the third best defender. I'm sorry, the second and third best defenders. But that's good drafting. That is a great fit. They needed that guy.
Look at the chat. The Chiefs are sleeping on Tafoya. Banana's saying Tafoya is overrated. I don't think these guys saw any game film on this Florida State great.
Hey.
Ben Tafoya don't hate. This guy's got it all. He'll eat everything on your plate. I love Ben Tafoya, middle linebacker, extraordinaire. But continue, Lipp, continue. It's thumbs up, 2 thumbs up over here. I know we weren't even doing 2 thumbs up, but this was my favorite pick of the draft.
Yeah, definitely a thumbs up. I remember last year there was a lot, you remember Kroom from the Raiders? A lot of guys talked about him. Thought he was, really good. Some people didn't, really want to take him. They passed up on him. Whenever the Raiders
took him now.
They hurt. Yeah, absolutely. They're hurt now, and they're going to feel the same way about Ben Tafoya because he is going to be a dominant linebacker for the Broncos for a long time.
And as much as middle linebackers just completely can dominate the field, they're kind of the quarterbacks on the defensive side of the field, especially in 4-3s. You're looking at these teams, and I'm looking around, and I'm going, man, that AFC West. They got some linebackers in that AFC West. I want to stay away from that division, and I think it was a great pickup. As you said, Kroom, playing for the Raiders, took the Raiders to the Super Bowl last year as a rookie. I mean, this guy's going to come back sophomore season ready to go. He got Ben Tafoya in Denver. A lot of big positive things happening on the defensive side of the ball for that division. Moving forward right now, let's see what we got next on the agenda for MBL Live. Looks like we're going to go to a commercial break right now. We got the NBL promotional video. If you're looking at joining the NBL, check us out on Twitter. You can follow us at Bomber League. Also go to MaddenBomberLeague.com, 365.MaddenBomberLeague.com to fill out an application. Check us out. See if you like us. You got any questions, concerns, shoot us an email. Hit us up on Twitter. Everyone's responsive. All of our guys are responsive. So check us out. This is our promo video showing exactly what you'll get if you join the NBL and what we're about. All right, we're back. Big shout on that promo video. Looking good, looking fresh. Appreciate it, Delvar, behind the scenes pulling the strings. Moving on, we're going to be talking next segment up. It's Banana's pick. It's Lipp's seasonal prediction of the New Orleans Saints. I believe this started like 2 seasons ago. Let me put it in context for the first time viewers, listeners right now. Banana's talking a lot of mess in our group me chat. He won't stop. Just click, like fingers going crazy, right? And Liv said, you know what, squash your trash talk, and I'm going to give you your prediction. And he put him at 7-9. The dude finished 7-9. So now Lipp has a crystal ball on the New Orleans Saints. Go ahead and give us all your prediction this year, how you think the New Orleans Saints are going to do, and break it down by division wins and all that kind of good stuff.
All right, Bananas, this is the year, man. This is
the
year.
Baby.
You're close, man. Okay,
right.
So I do believe that the New Orleans Saints have the NFC East and the AFC East on their schedule. A lot of people looking at both those divisions and would say 0-4 against the NFC East, but 4-0 versus the AFC East, which is a good thing. But I'm going to flip it around a little bit, and I'm going to say you'll go 3-1 against both of these divisions. I think that you'll drop a game that you're not paying too much attention to in the AFC East and also in the NFC East. NFC East is going to be a tough road, and I need you to win at least 3 of those games. So then, now we're going to go into the division.
Wait, who beats them? Who beats them in the AFC East and the NFC East?
All right, now don't get on me about this.
Your ball and crystal ball don't go that deep, huh?
It don't go that deep.
It keeps it relatively, it skims the water. All right, keep going. Let's go.
Bananas will drop his game in the NFC East to the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
And in the AFC East to the New York Jets.
Oh, Delvar!
There we go.
Shout out. So Delvar gets 1 win this year. Okay.
So then, once he gets into the division battle, the division got a whole lot easier, man. The guy keeping you down, not letting you win it all, he's gone. This is the time for you to take your division. I do believe you'll go 5-1 in your division. You'll have one slip up. I don't know who. It's kind of, I'm unsure about it, but one time you're going to have a mess up. And then I do believe your other 2 teams are the Arizona Cardinals and the Chicago Bears. You play the Cardinals week 1, the Bears week 17. I think you're going to go 1-1 against those. I think you'll beat the Cardinals, but lose to those Bears that I do believe you struggled to put up points against in the playoffs a few seasons ago. So I do believe you'll finish at a solid 10-6. That's great for you. But the good thing is you're going to win the NFC South. This is your year, man. I'm pulling for you. 10-6, NFC South division winner, Bananas. There you go.
Yo, I'm not a math genius, Lipp, but I'm adding up these losses, and it doesn't equal 6. At least is what I see. AFC East, NFC East. That's what, 8 games. You say 2 losses. Loses 1 in the division out of 4 games. That's another loss. That's 3. Then you say he splits. That's 4. Where are the other 2 losses coming from?
Now, this is where it gets deep. This is where I usually say Bananas is going to go, like that year that I said he was going to go 7-9. He pulled out an extra game, I think, and went 8-8 or 9-7. I don't exactly remember, but this is my prediction. This is what's going to happen, but he's going to end up 10-6 somehow. Because I'm saying Bananas is going to lose these games, but somehow is going to end up 10-6.
Yo, he just said you won, but you lost. So there's 2 games that you just won in the crystal ball, and you end up losing them. Bananas, only you can do it. 10-6. They got an NFC South division winner. I see it differently. I see the Carolina Panthers challenging them. I think it's going to be close. I don't even sleep on the Bucs, man. If they can just get consistent, I think they have a really, really strong team over there. And the Atlanta Falcons, I don't know, it's a little bit of a wild card. Definitely a Super Bowl caliber potential team. Not sure how they'll finish out right now. Still too early to tell. Moving on, speaking of owners, we're going to move on to the next one, contending owners. We're going to take a look at the parity in the league right now. We got a graphic made up with the legends, of course. Man, I put myself under there. Maybe feeling myself a little bit on this one, but we got the legends. We named 4 teams, and then we got up and coming. I wanted to just put this out there because I wanted to show you the people that have Super Bowls right now versus the bottom people who are up and coming, who are really pushing and knocking on that door, that I think by the end of this Madden, a couple of these guys, they might have 2 Super Bowls on that up and coming right now. They have none right now. You got the Texans Doughboy, the Jets Delvar, Redskins Gub, Chiefs Timbo, Bears Draco, Saints Bananas, Titans Star, and Raiders Hop, who made it to the MBL Super Bowl game. You can find that on our MBL Live archives for season 23. Now, Lipp, looking at this list, do you agree with who I selected on the up and coming? I see these guys as they're really starting to push that envelope, and you're seeing a lot of parity. I could have thrown the Panthers on there. They had one really strong year where they won their division when everybody in their division was healthy and playing. So this was a real tough list I had to come up with, but I really wanted to show how it just seems like a changing of the guard a little bit. It seems like the time of being on top and dominating, we're seeing a lot more competition, which is great for the league. And I even throw those Jets in here, not because the guys on here I wanted to be awkward, but man, he is this crazy a tough beat in the playoffs. And I think where that division gets Delvar in, and I think Delvar, man, he has been my pick a couple times to make a playoff run that I felt he could have, he had a nice path, and I thought, man, if he gets here and here and here, and he catches some breaks, we might see old Delvar in the Super Bowl. And if he wins the Super Bowl, we'll probably never see him again, because that's off that bucket list that you never expect to really happen. Texans Doughboy, obviously a strong team. Redskins Gub has been strong, and he's kind of been disappointing in the last couple seasons. You expected more from Gub, especially after that big victory he had, I believe, in MBL season 22 versus the Detroit Lions. Went to overtime. It seemed like they were kind of turning the corner, and now they don't even have a quarterback on their team right now. So a lot of things happening in Washington. Chiefs, I'm really high on Timbo. I think the guy's going to be great for that franchise, and I think he's playing great competition within his division, which me and Lipp can attest to. That makes you a stronger player and a stronger owner. Raiders as well. Is there anybody on this list, on that up and coming list, that you really think maybe should be is definitely somebody you agree with, or maybe shouldn't be there?
No, I think this is a solid list. These guys have put in a lot of time and have really learned the league and gotten into the groove of you're not going to have dominating seasons all the time. You're going to have bad seasons, and you're going to have those seasons where it doesn't look like you're going to be the Super Bowl contender, but you are, and you can get a hot streak and you can get going and make it to the Super Bowl, and that's what these guys are doing, and it's very nice to see. I like to see good ownership, and I like what Timbo's doing with the Chiefs. Doughboy's been building the Texans and is doing such a good job with them. Just had a great year last year. The one team that I want
kind of got exposed. I think the Raiders have kind of exposed the Texans. I'm really going to be watching Houston this year to see if their record stays as high as it was. They were 12-4, but when I watched that game, I saw something about Houston. And I said, that's got to change. He's going to have to add a little bit more, because I think the Raiders really showed the formula how to stop the Houston Texans, and I think that's going to be interesting to see if anybody in that division picks that up.
Yeah, I think that the Raiders are solid. I think that I know what the flaw with the Texans is, and if they change that up, I think that they could represent the AFC in the Super Bowl this year. It's on the defensive side of the ball. That's all I'm going to give you, but you fix that, you'll be there. And of course, star with the Titans, a great team. Missed out on the playoffs last year, but I know he's got it. He just needs a couple more, weeks to get into the groove. Needs an off season, this past off season, to continue building that team. I think he's going to be a dominant force this year. A lot of great, solid owners up and coming in the NBL.
But there's only really one legend, and we all know who that is. Moving on. Going to the next one, we're going to
not Sonny.
Not Sonny is definitely not the legend. That was a courtesy putting up there. He's done a lot of hard work for the league. Chunk him in there so the graphic looks a little bit more balanced. That's why we threw him on there.
That point one.
Does that Super Bowl even count as one? Did we give him a full one for
no
that?
Way.
Dude, I told him a half, bro, or a quarter.
Yeah, dude, it's Pat. It was a quarter a couple seasons ago. We're barely at point one with that thing.
I want y'all to really look at this graphic and tell me if there was only 3 legends up there. It would look like it was missing a little something. Had to throw the bagels on there. Sonny's over there and be like, I'm a legend. He's screenshotting it right now. Relax. All right, so moving on. We're gonna go back to the draft. We still got 5 more rookies. We're gonna do thumbs up, thumbs down 4. And at number 5, the Seattle Seahawks took DeLon's Virgil, wide receiver. Love this pick. Thumbs up for me. They got Cam Newton. Cam Newton can sling the ball. Accuracy's always been an issue for the quarterback. So you like to go underneath or take the big shot down the field. I think Virgil is a great player, and he's going to be an asset for this team day one. And arguably their best wide receiver on their team. I mean, I know they got Sidney Blackman and they got Taj Lott, but I like DeLon's Virgil. I think he has the ability to do a lot of things. He's very fast, can get to his top speed very fast, can play kick returner. He can do a lot of things. He's 6'2". He's not 5'9" or 5'10". This guy's got some size. He's only 191 pounds, but he's got the big target ability down the field. He can jump up and make a play. I really love this pick, and I think this guy is an explosive wide receiver that can really help this team.
Yeah, I think that this was a good pick, smart pick. Love what the Seahawks are doing here. Cam Newton needed some help. You know, if you look at last year, they had Jamal Mason, which was their only guy that was consistent and put up numbers. Everybody else was just kind of like a filler number 2, number 3. No real number 2 to go in there. I think this guy will, be that number 2, eventually become the number 1, and he'll be a star. Help Cam Newton. This Seahawks team already has a great defense. They were number 1 in points allowed last year. Very solid defense. The defensive side of the ball is taken care of, as you said before. They build that offensive line. So now it's just up to Cam Newton to get the ball to his young receivers. He's got a lot of them now. Great offseason, great draft. Big thumbs up for this pick for the Seahawks.
Yeah, and we look at Cam Newton's stats last year, 59% completion percentage, career low. Touchdowns 25 was a career high in the NBL. 38 interceptions was also a career high with the career low of a 66.6 QBR. But there's a bright side to this. They had a very, very old offensive line that, they lost Joe Thomas at the end of this year. He retired. So you're looking at this team and you say, well, what else is it? The wide receivers are so young. They're so young, and I think they're going to take that next step this year, and I think they're going to contend for that division. So Jay Moon and those Los Angeles Rams are going to have really some competition there. I think you got Arizona Cardinals, you got Seattle Seahawks, you got the Rams. Those teams are all going to be competing for the top of that division, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it turns out.
Yeah, and that's the big thing there with the way that these other teams are building their teams. The Seahawks have picked up, play defense. The big thing, though, I want to know what they're going to do with this run game. They lost Titus Roth, so once they can get the run game going, I think that the development of this young wide receiver in this offense is going to explode.
Oh, and I forgot the Niners. They're in that division as well. All right, moving on to the next pick, number 4. We got the Seattle Seahawks. They're drafting again. They take Tacoy Bacon, also known as Taco Bacon, defensive end from Oregon. A lot of talk around this guy. Easily could have went number 1. If quarterback wasn't such a need for Baltimore, he probably would be a Raven right now. But is this guy the game changer that they needed on defense?
I would say looking at this roster, yeah, a good pick. Like I said before, this team had a really good defense last year. I think they may have lost some people. They rebuilt this defensive line, drafting Bacon, bringing in Marcel Darius. That's going to make their defense even better than it was last year, and it was already good. The wide receiver with the next pick that we already talked about. I think that this is one of the better drafts, maybe behind the Broncos. The Seahawks were disciplined, did what they need, took the defensive line when they needed it, got the star player to help out on offense. Very good draft. Big thumbs up for both of these picks.
Let me give you a little insight on Tacoy Bacon. He's 6'5", 312 pounds. He's a 3'4" defensive end. 312 pounds. But he moves like nobody 300 pounds has moved before. He's got the strength of a big guy, but he's got the quickness of a smaller guy that makes him versatile. He's a hybrid. He could play 4-3 defensive end, 3-4 defensive end because of his athleticism. I love this guy. They can move him around. I think he's going to be great for that franchise. And I think the 5th pick, it was fitting. I think it was a great selection for them. The 4th pick, excuse me. Moving on to the 3rd pick in the NBL Season 24 rookie draft. The Denver Broncos, they did it again, Lipp. They got another star cornerback on their team. Cornerback Nick McKay, Denver Broncos, #50 Porter is in the building. And that doesn't mean anything negative. That's a positive thing right now because his defense is going to be putting up 50 points. The way he built this team, he got the best middle linebacker in the draft with Tafoya, and now he's got McKay at cornerback. This team is looking loaded. #Carr overrated might come back trending because this defense is going to put a lot of pressure on Oakland.
Yeah, earlier I said that I think that the Broncos walked away with the 2nd and 3rd best players in this draft. Obviously, Tafoya is a star. I thought McKay was a really good player. Not quite as good as Callaway, but probably number 2 and 3 as far as talent in this draft. So for the Broncos to get those 2 guys, it's going to help out their defense tremendously. That, Aqib Talib's gone. Chris Harris Jr. just walked this year. They needed a guy to come in, and Nick McKay is that guy. He is extremely good. We talked about how good Callaway is. I thought since before the draft that Nick McKay was such a close number 2. I wasn't sure where the Ravens were going to go at number 1. So for the Broncos to get this guy at number 3, for the Bucs to pass on this guy, it is a huge help. So with both of these defenders, the Broncos are going to be extremely tough on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, now you're going to have Bradley Roby on the outside alongside paired with McKay. It's going to be tough with the middle linebacker roaming. They also have some great talent on the defensive line. They got Don Terry Poe. This guy's like, the Chiefs don't want me no more. Fine. I'll go to a division rival, and I'm going to show them I still got a little bit left in their tank. They have Jared Seamster at left end. So they're going to have both of their end positions filled on that one. They got some just premium talent. I mean, Poe's going to fit nicely. They're going to be running that 3-4. So you're going to be seeing a lot of defense out of Denver. They're going to put the defense back in Denver. And I'm interested to see how that unfolds as my selections for who won the draft was the Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks. I thought they moved up, did a big risk by moving up, but they really capitalized on what was out there, and they took some key players. Number 2 in the draft from Ole Miss, Darren Paysinger. And he's the guy, I call this guy the forgotten man. And we were both thumbs up on pick 3, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely thumbs up. It's hard not to give a thumbs up at this point, but I'm not sold on Darren Paysinger for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Defensive tackle, drafted second overall. This might be that void filler for what they've lost over the years, but I'm questioning this selection so early to go with the defensive tackle. I just feel like in this draft that you could have got that in the 2nd round. Paysinger really their best defensive tackle on their team right now. I mean, that's in question as well. He's 6'3", 300 pounds. He's 300 pounds, D tackle, but he's not, the big behemoth that you would need. Not the strongest guy. He's got some speed, more of a finesse move guy. I'm kind of a thumbs down on this pick, Lipp.
I have to agree to it. At number 2, going defensive tackle, that's a thumbs down in itself for me. And then on top of it, Paysinger's not even that strong of a guy. At defensive tackle,
you saying you stronger than Paysinger?
Oh, I'm definitely stronger than Paysinger. Yeah. Anyway, Paysinger's not that strong. He's got to show that he can play with his athleticism, his technique, to be a convincing number 2, because right now, just looking at his bench reps and just him as a guy, it just does not look like a number 2 pick to me. I'm very concerned about his strength, and I think that the Bucs lost Joe McCoy at the end of the season and just panicked. Fell in love with this guy for a reason, and maybe it'll play out. But I think that they panicked, took him at number 2 whenever they could have moved back or taken
he
someone
would have been
else.
available. He would have been available in the 20s, easy. This is a guy that, as you said, he's not the strongest guy. He's not going to impose his physical ability on the offensive line. But he does have very good speed and quickness for a 300-pound guy, but not number 2 overall pick potential speed and quickness like we saw earlier. I mean, there has to be a player that you look at and you go, wow, that guy has all the intangibles you need, like Takoy Bacon. If Bacon would have went number 2, I would have said, thumbs up, Tampa. That's what you needed, and he was the best player available at that position. I still don't think he was a top 2 pick either. I think he was right there at 3 or 4, but he's definitely a day 1 game changer for the team. So we're both going thumbs down on the number 2 pick for Tampa, which is sad because I'm really rooting for Tampa, and I just don't see many things happening from that franchise that really make me go as a fan, okay, now we're on the right track. I see a lot of confusion. We still got Mike Evans not producing it but getting paid, and we still have Winston not living up to his ability. So I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are trying to build around the defense, and I think they just kind of reached here with Darren Paysinger, 23 years old, 6'3", 300 pounds, Ole Miss. I just didn't like it, so we're going to go thumbs down. And the first pick in the NBL Season 24 rookie draft was Aaron Callaway. You saw this on our live broadcast. Nobody was surprised because you got Troy Kinney on the left, Aaron Callaway on the right. This Baltimore Ravens defense is saying, you know what, Pittsburgh, you know what, Cincinnati, y'all want to be these passing teams? We're going to shut you down. That's what we're going to try to do this year. Give us 2 seasons. We're going to have the top-rated pass defense in the NBL. They went with the Notre Dame cornerback, Aaron Callaway, and this is a thumbs up for me. This guy is a stud. I think they could have went with McKay. I think McKay could have been the number 1 pick based on need, best player available, arguably. But Callaway just has that special it factor when I look at cornerbacks and I go, man, just like I did with Troy Kinney 3 years ago. And I said, man, Troy Kinney, 6'1". He's got the speed, the athleticism, the ability to turn his hips. Same thing I see with Aaron Callaway, 6'1". So now you have 2 6-foot-plus cornerbacks that can guard any type of receiver, slot, bigger receiver, possession receiver, route runner, whatever it may be, and they can press up on him and impose their physical will on him, and I love him. 6'1", 202 pounds, had a great career at Notre Dame, Lipp. I'm definitely a thumbs up on this guy.
Yeah, you already had, the Baltimore Ravens already had one of the best secondaries in NBL with Troy Kinney, Cohen, and Davenport at safety. Now you throw in Callaway and even Julius Thornton at their third corner. They have a lot of good guys that can play in the secondary. Their defensive line is kind of in question right now, but they'll fix that. They also have a very good linebacking core. So once they fix that defensive line, I think that this could be one of the best. I'm saying top 2. There might be another defense out there better, just a hair.
I don't think we've ever had cornerbacks on a team with this kind of potential before, ever.
No, but the 1-2 punch, they've got to be the best right now. You look at them.
And both in their prime? I mean, wow.
Absolutely. Once Callaway gets a little bit of development, and not even development, he's already a star, but once he mentally develops, understands the game a little bit, these two are going to be extremely tough to throw against. It's going to be impossible with Cohen and Davenport behind them. It's just an unbelievable secondary, and it's a great job.
I haven't even mentioned about free safety Cohen, 6'2", 25 years old. Arguably the best free safety in the NBL. Parrish Davenport, 6'2", arguably the best strong safety in the NBL. So if there was one team that you'd be like, well, we don't really have to get pressure, it'd be a team like this that's so deep on the back end. Their secondary is phenomenal. So what an extraordinary thing that they're developing in Baltimore. Can they capitalize on it? We will see. They're in a very tough division that Pittsburgh has dominated, and Cincinnati has strongholded that second spot. So it's going to be tough to break that up. See if Cleveland and the Baltimore Ravens can break that up. But moving along, we're going to Bombers predictions. I thought it was time for me to make some predictions since we have our kickoff special. Our season starts in less than 2 hours, guys. 2 hours. MBL season 24 is going to start. Y'all might be playing your games tonight. You might be scheduled with a guy like training. You have to wait till tomorrow. I don't know. But you're going to be excited. It's about to start. Yeah, tomorrow will be probably too early. So it'll be tomorrow of tomorrow. So probably Sunday, I guess. Most likely. All right, Bombers predictions, season 24 kickoff. My shoo-ins are Gub and Doe. I think they're going to have great season. I think they're going to win their division, and I think they're going to be in. Anything less than that will be a disappointment. Must-win seasons right now. We got the sniper. Pew, pew. That was my sniper sound. Let me try. Delmar, give me a new sound for that. That was bad, man. I kind of like practiced that, then it just came out really bad. Delvar, I'm gonna need a sniper sound moving forward, man. Push it up next to that splash play. Cuba with the free agency sniper. I think it's a must-win season for him, and by must-win, I need to see 9 wins. I need a winning season, and in Cuba's case, that'll win him the division. Homer, he'll still miss the playoffs, but we'll be satisfied with the win season. My dark horse teams are TFA. Jacksonville Jaguars. People wondering, why are you picking TFA? You see how strong he finished the season of NBL season 23. This guy's on a tear, and he hasn't stopped in the preseason. He's going to be tough. Do I think he'll win his division? No, I think Texans are going to take it, but I think he's going to be the best wild card in the AFC this upcoming year. Also, another dark horse is Deca. Now, he might not make the playoffs, but I think in his division, if he wins 9 games, he definitely could. And by dark horse with the 49ers, I believe they're going to go over 500 this year. If they don't, it's a huge disappointment in my eyes. It's not a must-win season for them, but this is a team that's been building for 3 to 4 seasons. It's time to show some payback on what you got. Lipp, look at my Bomber predictions. Do you have any issue with any of them?
I don't have an issue with any of them, but I need... Dude, the Redskins have to make it to the Super Bowl this year. They've been so close. They have such a good roster. I just need them to get there. I don't know if anything less than the division is disappointing. I think anything less than the Super Bowl is disappointing. That's a good team, but the big issue is, are you rolling into this season with Riley Rodenhauser and Joe Richard as your quarterbacks? Who's going to be the guy? I don't know if I have confidence in either one of those guys. I think Gubb might just say we're going to run the ball and play defense.
They had Aaron Rodgers last year, and he played very well for him, and it didn't work out. The front office and Aaron Rodgers didn't get along the entire season. And at the end, they just broke up. It just, here we are. It's non-existent. I'm not going to use that as an excuse for the Washington Redskins. There were plenty of quarterbacks out there that they could have grabbed in free agency that could have sufficed a position to play for one more season. They chose not to do it. I'm looking past it. They got the guy they want. That's what it tells me. And this is a team that has been moving forward and had I think last year it was very disappointing in the playoffs for them to be one and done like the way they were. I was disappointed in them. I thought they would be better. Losing in the divisional round to the Atlanta Falcons was surprising, and the way that they lost was surprising. They couldn't put the ball in the end zone. So I look at a team like Gubb, and it's no excuses this year. They're my shoo-in. They have to get in. It ain't a must-win season for them. It's an expected-to-win season for them. That's why I have them on the shoo-in, and I'm not going to let you use that quarterback as an excuse. That was their choice. They want to go with that quarterback, Lipp. That's on them. We're going to follow it because if it doesn't work out, we're going to be here telling. Yeah,
absolutely. Because if you're rolling into the season with Riley Rodenhauser or whoever that guy is, you've got to be confident in him, and he's got to get you to a Super Bowl. And the last thing that I have for these predictions is, hey, I read you guys in the opener what Cuba said to me. He said, "See you in the playoffs."
Whoa!
It's a must-win season.
Put it in context. When did this happen? What is this? He said this to you when?
Preseason weeks, Steelers versus Dolphins after
the game?
After the game.
So after the game, after y'all played, he said that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The good games were handed out.
And he didn't win, right? He lost that game?
No, but it's preseason. Things happen.
Was he close? Was it close? It
was a good game. Yeah, of course it was a good game. We talked about some things that went on during the game, and then after he said that he was excited for the season to start, and I said, good luck this year, man. He said, "Same to you. See you in the playoffs." So here's your must-win season, Cuba.
Wait. Hold on. Let's bring that back. Let's bring that back. I don't know if he's saying see you in the playoffs as in we'll be there, but we will be seeing the Steelers in the playoffs. So maybe he's saying I'll see you in the playoffs. Like, you have a game on MBL Live and I'll be watching it. Maybe that's the direction he was going, because see you in the playoffs from a team that has been dominated by their division top to bottom outside of Week 17 Jets game. You look at this team, they've struggled. They can't beat the Jets, they can't beat the Bills, and they can't beat the Patriots. And you look at the rest of the league, they're beating all three of those teams outside of maybe the Jets ever so often, and the Bills 2 years ago were a better team. So I like the confidence, but hope is a dangerous drug, and I'll always go back to that. And it's preseason. I guess everybody has their own hope and their own ambitions about their team. So good luck to the Dolphins moving forward. But this is a must-win season for you. That means the Commissioner's Corner podcast will be following your team's success. All 6 of these teams, consider yourself on Bomber Spotlight. I'm going to follow you through the season, the ups and downs on Commissioner's Corner, and I'm going to revisit this. And I'm going to let you know where they go. If you fit the mold and you do exactly what you're expected to do as I put you on this list, you'll be fine. But if you don't, I'm going to crush you. So be prepared for that. That's going to be upcoming in the Commissioner's Corner podcast. And now we're going to move on. I believe that wraps up our topics for the show. We're going to probably move on to, looks like Crossfire's up right now. The first topic of the day. We got Tim Hamilton, Timbo, the Chiefs of the MBL, said, is this Deca's year to make the playoffs? Interesting topic. Lipp, go ahead and take us through your thought process on that question.
What was the question?
The question is this Deca, the San Francisco 49ers, year to make the playoffs, MBL season 24?
Hey, he's got
let's look at the question. Is this his year to make the playoffs? His year to make the playoffs?
I would say that it's anybody's year to make the playoffs, but the 49ers have a good, very friendly schedule here, and they open up with the Colts, the Panthers, the Seahawks. They could get out to a good start. Titans will be a little tricky, and then you've got to run through the NFC West, and the Lions are on that schedule. The Bears, some tough defenses. I think that people were talking about a 9-7 possible schedule for them this year. That's a pretty achievable record for these 49ers. And Deca's done really good things in the offseason and the draft the last 2 years. So I do think it's possible for this to be Deca's year.
Well, for it to be Deca's year, it has to be
just as long as he doesn't pick himself to win, because the team's Deca picks to win.
I think he's onto. I think he's onto his own curse. He's smartened up by now. He's not doing that anymore. But in order for it to be the Niners' year, it'd have to be the Seahawks' worst year, the Rams' worst year, and the Cardinals' worst year for it to be the Niners' year. So they need a lot of help. I don't know. I like what Arizona's done. I like what LA has done, and I like what Seattle has done. So I think he's building his team, but subsequently everybody in his division are building monsters as well, and you never can count the Rams out of just steamrolling that division like they did last year when they finished 11-5. So a lot of things would need to happen in his favor, maybe some injuries, and he'd have to stay healthy and play at a high level. But I mean, I'm just not confident in quarterback play in San Francisco.
Absolutely. The turnovers, the interceptions. He cannot have a 40 interception year like last year with Jawar Woodard. And get that out of the picture. He's got a good chance, but got to make smart reads.
He brought in Kirk Cousins, so let's see if that guy can get any play on the field. I don't see much from Kirk Cousins. He brought him in. Jawar Woodard, obviously an interception machine. It's like Golden Corral when you play the 49ers, except they're not giving you a buffet of food. It's interceptions that they're going to be giving you, and they're going to be handing them to you, and it's pretty much as you want, as Woodard has had one of the worst interception totals in 4 seasons in MBL history. If we kept the stat on that, I'm sure he would be atop that. That's my number one knock on San Francisco. On the defensive side of the ball, I think they've built a great team, and I think Deca's done a phenomenal job building these pieces. Now getting them all to work together and play together is a thing of their own. So moving on, we're not talking 49ers no more. Who do we have? I'm just going to pick. Zach says, will Sonny win a playoff game? Lipp, you can take that. I would say if he doesn't have to play the Steelers, maybe.
That would probably.
But then again, he played the Bills and lost to them 2 seasons ago. I didn't think he'd lose that. So.
Yeah, honestly, that question will be answered during the end of the year whenever it's the seedings going on. It depends on where those Steelers-Bengals line up. Sonny just can't get it done. So I don't know.
That's facts, though.
His typical thing, the thing that he does is goes 10-6 and then 1 and done in the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know if he can get a win. Like I said, it all depends on the seeding because there's just a couple teams that the Bengals just cannot get over in the AFC, and they just can't get to the Super Bowl. I don't know why, but they just cannot make it.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of luck to get to the Super Bowl.
It
you
does,
need things to
but,
go
I
your
mean,
way.
Come on, for a guy who calls himself Sonny Weaver, they should be able to get there.
Self-proclaimed Sonny Weaver. Well, here we go. So, also, I want to mention, Niners' favorable schedule, Week 1 versus the Colts. That's going to be on MBL Live. I know we don't have the graphic for it just yet. CMF is going to be making those for us here tonight. They're going to be playing tomorrow, Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. MBL Live play-by-play broadcast. You're going to see OSU and Bomber on the call. Bomber being myself, talking in third person. I know y'all probably enjoying that, but yes, the game's going to be on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be Colts versus the 49ers. I'm pretty sure on the time. Is any clarification on that as far as 9 p.m. tomorrow?
I do believe so.
I do believe so as well. And we'll have the graphic coming out. It's going to be Niners versus Colts. Niners can start 1-0. And if they start 1-0, I will never hear the end of it about how he's going to go 16-0. I think that would probably continue for a good while. So hopefully we have a very first quick Week 1, unless Pricey can get the job done and shut the old man up. Do the Niners have to bench their quarterback for yet another season? Is what Shadow Rose said based on the rules. And that's a rules thing. We don't want to get into that. Try to stay in a little bit of character, but I don't know. Probably. All right. Well, NFC East.
I hope not.
Hopefully not, but most likely so. Will the NFC East have 3 teams make the playoffs? Draco asked that. Draco, his name is Draco Bears versus Titans tonight. That's a weird YouTube name channel. Okay, will they have 3 teams that make it? Man, it depends on the Eagles. It depends on the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Giants. Wow, so I just pretty much just walked out.
And the Redskins.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at it,
Okay.
I'm not so high on the Cowboys as I used to be. I actually think the Eagles will make it.
It's a tough call.
I don't know. I think the Bears will be back this year. Draco asked that. I think he'll be back in the playoff hunt. I think that'll knock out one of the NFC East teams. Any other questions we got right now? Ask away, and we will talk about them. Deca gonna walk softly and carry a big freaking stick, is what John Blevins says. All right, okay. Deca, you don't walk softly, bro. Jets first game, first win. Oh, Cuba. Cuba. Okay, so the Dolphins are continuing this.
Let's get clarification here, Cubo. Did you mean that you would see the Steelers in the playoffs, or did you mean that you would see me in the playoffs, as in you will be in the playoffs? I would like some clarification. So if you could put that in the chat, let us know.
That's obvious. We know the answer to that, right? You know what he was saying. I was just giving him an out when it doesn't come to fruition, and we're all looking back, and he's got an out.
I want to hear it from him.
Cuba's killer instinct mainly takes place in the free agency period of MBL. The rest of it's just it's a toss-up. Anything can happen, I guess. Will Sonny make the playoffs is a question coming out of Deca asking right now. He says, I can't watch the Steelers in the playoffs if I'm playing them in the playoffs. That's a fact, but he still didn't answer the question. He's just saying stuff now to get past it. I
want you to say the Dolphins will be in the playoffs. Come on, just spit it out. Be confident in yourself.
Say it in blood. Write it in blood.
Let's go, Cuba.
And we'll believe you. Will Sonny advance past wildcard weekend for once? I think we already answered that one. Will Sonny make the playoffs? A lot of Sonny stuff. They want us to tell it. Sonny will not make the playoffs this year. You heard it first here. Bomber stating it right now on Crossfire. MBL, Commissioner's Corner, broadcast number 17. I'm saying Sonny will miss the playoffs. I haven't even looked at his schedule yet. I'm just going to go out on a limb, and if I'm wrong, he'll be booted he'll be knocked out in the wild card round, and everybody will forget anyways. But if I'm right, I can hold it over him, right? Isn't that how it works?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Just don't get into another internet battle.
I don't know how the internet works. I just know mine works well. That's all I know at this point. All right, moving on. Fry in the chat says Cuba making playoffs when Dwayne Wade comes back to Miami. Oh man, that was 2 parts to that where he got him. He basically said you're not making the playoffs and Dwayne Wade's not coming back to Miami. Both things that Cuba wants. He burned them in one sentence. I like that. A little bit of a sub shot at Cuba right there. Well, not really a subliminal either. Pretty much right in his face. Nice job by Fry there. I think this is who will have the number 1 overall pick in the next draft. This is the last question. I don't want to ramble on and on here. Number 1 pick in next year's draft.
Ooh.
Man, that's tough. I don't want to throw anybody. I don't want to burn anybody right now.
No.
But what team do I see that had like? Somebody asked who had the worst draft. How about we answer that instead? Somebody said who had the worst draft. I think the Lions had the worst draft. To be honest with you, I think I had a horrible draft. But the Bucs would be right there with that number 2 pick. I do not like Paysinger. I think he's, I think he just lacks the overall talent needed to be drafted number 2 overall in any draft. I think he lacked the physicality that's needed at defensive. What is he, defensive tackle? Or defensive? Yeah, he's defensive tackle, 300-pound D tackle. And he's barely 300 pounds. He doesn't even have the strength to get it done. And his quickness and his athleticism is good, and it was really good in college. Good athletic, but not superior athleticism. And I think that's what you need to take somebody that early. I think it was an early second-round pick that went second. And I hope it works out for him because I'm always rooting for Tampa Bay, as I've been on podcasts since our first episode. But, I mean, I'm looking now down his depth chart, and it's tough to root for a team that's been struggling like that, and I just don't see the improvements made on either side of the ball thus far.
Yeah, the number 2 pick. Yeah, like I said, if he can use his athleticism, his speed, his quickness, his technique, he could be a good player. But for his strength, I'm just not sure. But I'm not going to touch the who will be the number 1 pick. But I will bring up. Who had a bad draft? I do believe that TFA and the Jaguars, I do believe I heard that he set a record for drafting the most slow development guys.
Oh, yeah.
Was that a thing?
That was a thing for a while. And you know how you know that? Because everybody knows that because he was in a chat while we were doing our live broadcast, and he wanted to shut the hell up. I heard 10, 11 people saying they could barely watch the network show because he was talking so much. Very interesting stuff about TFA, Mr. Energizer Bunny, he just won't shut up. I think if you just put him on mute and ignore him, he basically shuts off at that point.
He'll
so
talk
maybe
to
something
anybody
to try.
that doesn't listen. It don't matter.
He talks to anybody as long as they don't respond back to him. He's good to go. It seems at that point.
He'll keep talking.
That's going to wrap up the show. I mean, I got one more question in here. I see. Looking down to hear Bomber and Chad, blah. He's saying nothing.
Hey, Doughboy, I'm Team Doughboy. I think you're better than Gub.
Gub knows better. That's the question I was looking for. Oh,
no
100%.
way.
Gub can't draft for nothing because he reaches, but I feel like he just knows a little bit more. I can't get behind Doughboy. I just feel like when he's talking so slow and he's drawing out his words, I'm thinking he's lying to me. I'm like, he's not telling me the truth. That's why he's talking so slow.
Hey,
Gubba feels like a little bit of a used car salesman, but at least I feel like he believes this car is going to run for about a year. So I trust him a little bit more, while I think Doughboy's completely lying to me. So I'm Team Gub all the way. Lipp's Team Dough. But that's going to do it for episode number 17, unless you have anything else, Lipp.
I think it was a solid show. Good stuff.
Okay, so he's got nothing else.
Of course I got nothing else.
All right, so nothing else. Episode 17's a wrap. MBL Season 24 starts in about an hour and a half. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. We got a lot of things coming up. We also have a new show debuting, as we mentioned, this month. It's going to be OSU. He's going to have his own show. It's going to be called The Director's Cut. And he's the network director of the MBL Network. Cool. It's going to be real cool. It's going to be having status updates on what's going on in the league. So that is definitely something you're going to want to hear. It's going to tell us what's going on around here, fill all the gaps and holes in which we miss on our shows, and it's going to tie everything together pretty much. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. More information is going to be coming soon on that as well. Great show. Delvar behind the scenes pulling the strings. Big shout out to you. Our mods in the chat. T. Porter, the attendance guru, and John Blevins was in the chat modding it. So we really appreciate everyone coming out. You guys enjoy MBL Season 24. And in 2 weeks, not this next week, but the next week, we'll be back. And we'll be talking about those teams I mentioned before and much more. So you guys have a good night and a good season in MBL Season 24. Pew, pew.